Tidy-eyed campers. God, flaming hell. Summer's here. It's arrived in buckets, isn't it? Hence the silly hat. Yeah. Been down to the beach this morning. Got up nice and early, went down there, beat the crowds, stayed there till 1 o'clock, long enough. Got busy, time to leave, come home, do the filters, give it a clean, give the fish some watermelon, all those bits and bobs that you tend to do on a Sunday. Didn't really do a lot yesterday. Yeah, I know that I've got the drum to fit, but got bits and pieces to get yet before that's gonna happen. Bit of the cash flow for crisis, be honest with you. Friday when I came home, really felt like just jacking it all in. Oh, look at my nose, caught sun. Yeah, felt like closing the whole lot down really. Just felt a bit down in the dumps as you do sometimes, but quick phone call to a good friend of mine, and a little bit of a laugh and a joke, and suddenly the world looks better. And then went out shopping and got myself some Warsteiner. Those of you who've never been to Germany or never served in Germany with the armed forces and that lot probably won't know what Warsteiner is. Used to call it wobbly. Cheap as chips it used to be back in the day. So I'm talking about before the euro and stuff like that, when it was marks. You could buy a case of the stuff for it was about 9 marks. Down at the supermarkets, about 9 to 12 marks you buy a case, 24 bottles, 330ml bottles, and back at the time I think it was somewhere between 5 and 7 marks a pound. So yeah, just over a quid 50, quid 20, something like that, you know, in case of Warsteiner. Lovely stuff, selling it in Tesco's now, absolutely beautiful, absolutely love it to death. And so I shall be paying a visit to Tesco's and picking up a bottle or two every now and again. So anyway, enough of alcohol. Had a bit too much yesterday, but yeah, as I said, the fish are, if we can see down here, attacking a piece of watermelon. I'll spin you around. Watermelons under there, keep on coming up and having a good old smash at it. First piece of watermelon they've seen this year. They've had everything else, but I bought a watermelon for myself, and I thought, yeah, why not? Now you're filming it, so you don't want to know. When I sat down in the chair, all I can hear is but yeah, typical. They don't like performing on camera. But just doing the filter clean again. Oh, blanket weed. Absolute flaming nightmare. You can't see because I've got the jacuzzi on at the moment, but putting it away in the necklace there. All this has got to come out, so I've got to lift up all this deck in here, unbolt that centre section there, and I'll be able to lift this out. Then I've got to block up the bottom drain, remove the, I can't see too bright, the slide valve down there, and got to cut that out. I've got to bring that pipe out a bit more from where it is, and then turn it in. I've got to put a bend on the pipe. All this pipe work here is going to change. All this pipe work here going across there, that's all got to change, so everything's got to be isolated from the pond. So it's just finding the time to do it, and obviously the money to get all the bits and pieces you need. But hey ho, at least I've got the drum, that's the main thing. Anyway, quick look at the garden. Look, Aggies are coming out. Yeah, Aggie Panthers. My white one's coming out this year. The white one's just there, look. Just about to come out, a bit behind the blues. They generally tend to be. The white Aggies tend to be a little bit behind the blues. But that's looking good. The fuchsia that never dies is over there. That thing has been cut down to floor level and below, even had its roots dug out, and it still comes back year after year, so it's earned its place, yeah, to survive. Roses are just going over. There you can see them up there. They're just finishing. Whether I get another show this year or not is another matter. And then acer tree, paper bush, newish acer tree. Try and keep the sun off. There you go. Yeah. Not the weather for filming this sunlight, but yeah, everything in the garden is hunky-dory, so that's all good. So I'm going to get on with the filter clean, and I'll catch up again with you later. Got some more food I've got to sort out and stuff like that, and talk about a few different plans on where I need to go and what I need to do. Sorry kids, it's alright spooping when they were eating a watermelon. So I'm going to put you down in the summer house where it's a little bit cooler. God, look at that. Rudolph the red-nosed reindeer had a very shiny nose. That is proper red. I had sunblock on that as well. Looked like one of these American surfers. A big white nose when I was down the beach. But hey ho, obviously hasn't worked. Anyway, put you down, clean the filters, and I'll catch up with you. So when I was at the show, picked up some more food because I moved on to fish. I don't know if you noticed, but my high at Surrey and one of the Adam Bayer Kohakos, not my growing show one, the other one, I sold on to Leon at Budget Pun Pekin, and yeah, so I had a few pounds in my pocket and plus a bit, so I brought some more food. Was going to go to Saki Hakari, but apart from the 2 kilo bags, which obviously isn't enough, the growth as small as I could find was 15 kilos, and it was just a little bit too much money on the day for me to pay, so I've gone with the usual. Yeah, so I've gone JPD again. I've got absolutely no problems with it, very little waste, very good food. Gone with the Shory. So there's another 10 kilo bag there, and remember previously a lot of us went in together and we brought some Saki Akari sinking, because JPD don't do a sinking growth. So that's, well, I got, because of the food I had, so we got that and that, so that's about a kilo and a half there. And then there's a 2.5 kilo bag, and the mix ratio is 10 kilos of that and 10 kilos of that. So that's what's going to go into the old bin in a minute. Pour a bit of each in, mix it all together, give it a good thorough mix out in a minute. A lot of noise going on out there. When Dad's away, what are the fish doing? Oh, there's a packet of something blown in the water. I've got to go fish it out. Wind's starting to pick up. There's a quite cool breeze. There's a packet of silica from the blanket weed treatment. Let me get that out. So, conditions must be right. Ground control at Ant Central have decided that the conditions are favourable, and the future queens are out and about, swamping the garden. They're everywhere. There's a few down here, look. Yeah, so we've got some down there. We've got one right down there, Casualties that didn't make it. Absolutely everywhere, but that also means, as we can see, might be able to zoom in on it, bit of free food for the fish. taking them. I saw them take a couple just a minute ago. They're still hovering around the melon. I'll get that out and have a look at that in a sec. Yeah. Follow you round here. Oh, still sucking on it. Let's go. Well, yeah, I think they're getting through that, aren't they? I'll leave it in there until they totally finish it off. Bless them. So they're having quite a feast today. But anyway, so that's 10 kilos plus 2.5 kilos of sinking gone in there. And hold it at the light and see, that's a pretty good mix. That's it. That's that. That'll do for a little while. Filled the hopper up. Put the feeds up. So 6 o'clock in the morning. So is 3 revolutions. Works out to be about 10 grams per revolution. So it's 30 grams, and 40 grams. Plus the hand feeds that they're getting in the day, plus whatever treats they get chucked in. Not really smashing the food in that much, but not until I get the drum up and running, but they're growing big enough. Anyway, catch you later on. Right, back again, back at work as you can see. So out in France, heading down to a place called Belleville-sur-Vie. Drop off an excavator down there, and then after that I don't know what I'm doing, but yeah, all my life seems to consist of is working, so I thought I'd pick up where I left off. Sorry, just had to check there. So I'll pick off where I left off the other day at home. I was talking about what I'm going to need to do to fit the new drum, and what I need to get. And I showed you sort of down in the pit that I've got to take out the leaky slide valve. So what I need to do for that is I need to get some buttons. So I'm going to have to totally isolate the pond from the filter pit. So I'm going to need a 4-inch and a couple of 1.5-inch buttons. The buttons I'm after are basically, it's 2 plates of metal, piece of rubber in between, and then you've got a bolt with a wing nut on. And what you do is just slide it in the hole, tighten up the wing nut, and as you tighten up the wing nut, the rubber expands and seals the tube or the pipework that you're putting it in. So obviously the one for the bottom drain, I'm going to have to go diving for that. Take the bottom drain cover off, drop that in, slot it down in between. Hopefully there's enough room in there. I might see if there's somebody's got a bottom drain that ain't fitted yet, so I can just do a dry test to see if it works. And then obviously the two for the inlets that I've got, underwater inlet returns. That's simple enough, they're on a tangential returns. So I just put them in a hole and tighten them up, so that shouldn't be too much of a problem, he says. Fingers crossed. So once that's done, I can then sort of like lift out the nexus, cut off what pipework I want to cut off. Going to do a total redesign on the pipework. I've got the air source heat pump obviously, so but that's going to stay. But also down in the pit I've got a 2 kilowatt Profi heater, which is like the heater element. So that's going to come. I was keeping that as a backup, but I'm not going to bother now because I'm not going to heat during the winter. So that's going to come off. Well, I'm going to heat, but I'm only going to take it to 10 degrees. The air source heat pump, if it fails, it fails. Just trying to neaten things up. So the Profi's coming out, and also I've got 30 watt UV in the filter pit. That can come out as well, because I'm going to be putting an amalgam in the drum. We're not going to all afford it. All these things cost money, and it takes a bit of time to get the money together. But so yeah, so that's all going to come out. So obviously, and the drum's going to sit in the new side of the filter pit I built. So pipework angles have changed and everything like that. So plan at the moment obviously is bottom drain into drum, 1.5 inch return coming out of the drum into the air source heat pump, out of the air source heat pump, and then that'll be split into the 2 returns. That's the plan at the moment. Future planning after that is that I will get a second bio unit. Should be enough room to fit a fairly decent sized one in there, and I want to split that into 2 and have one side static and one side moving bed. So I may have half the water returning to that, and then half the water returning straight to the pond. I'm not sure, or I might just do 4 inch straight through into the static bed, through into the bio, then out into the air source heat pump and around. That's the plan anyway. But as they say, best laid plans of mice and men always fail. Or the old army terminology is, any battle plan normally fails within the first 30 seconds. So, you know, who knows? It all depends on costs, finances, time, and whether my skills are good enough, I suppose. Yeah. So, like I said, that's what I'm planning. But that, anybody see any other problems with that, or got any other suggestions? Obviously, it's hard for you to picture it in your heads. I'll show you the filter pit, and all you can see is a dirty big Nexus in there at the moment. But you've seen the drum, you've seen what I'm thinking about doing. But if you've got any different ideas or any other ways you think it should be done, you know, just drop us a comment down below. All suggestions are welcome and considered, and possibly even accepted. You know, never rule anything out. If somebody comes up with something and it sounds better, well, I will take it on board and implement it if I can. But anyway, yeah. So, as I said earlier, summer has arrived in buckets. Much the same over here in France at the moment. We got, what are we? 20 past 9 local time, so 20 past 8 UK time, and just hit 29 degrees. So yeah, aircon's just about keeping up, so I'm not too hot at the moment in here. But we're coming off, turning off onto the A87 in a minute. A bit bright looking at the camera. I don't think you can sort of see what's outside or anything like that, but I'll turn you around in a little while and come on a little trip with me again around the Francais. We're just coming into an area called Brisac, sort of like a still round. What area are we? Just come out of Normandy area, really. So just coming out of Normandy. But yeah, I mean, the motorways and things over here are just so much easier to drive on than what they are back in UK. I mean, even when you hit busy stretches, all right, Paris is a nightmare, especially around the Parafique, which is sort of like their version of the M25. Yeah, that can be a bit of a nightmare, and driving around the ring road around Bordeaux can be a bit of a nightmare. But everything in between is such a pleasure to drive on.
and the attitude really over here when driving is a lot different to what we have in the UK. You know, I've gone through plenty of roadworks since I come over yesterday, and you get the signs, it's going down a one lane, sort of, you know, same as what we get back home, but there's none of this battling to get to the front and get in front and everybody filling up 2 lanes and then you're all queuing up to zot into 1 lane. You see the signs, everybody starts to move, and by the time you hit where it's down to 1 lane, you know, you're in 1 lane and the traffic's flowing and there's no hold-ups whatsoever.
In 1 mile, take exit 14 on the right to A87, then keep left.
Yes, ma'am. Yeah, yeah. So, like I said, why we have this attitude over in the UK of no, I'm not pulling over because I need to get in front of everybody. Keep on going to the last possible second, then we're all queuing. Is beyond me. But you know, it works over here. So why don't it work? Why don't we have the same attitude and make it work back home? That's what I'm going to say on that one, anyway. But everything's doing well. Problem is when things aren't going wrong, and I'm talking about the pond now, when things aren't going wrong and everything's going right, alright, I've got a bit of blanket weed, but that's not the end of the world, it makes it hard to find content to film for you guys out there, because everything's working, you know.
Take exit 14 on the right to A87, then keep left.
Yeah, so yeah, everything's working, and you know, when it's working, all I can really do is sort of like show you stuff.
Keep left to A87.
Show you the fish, show you how happy the fish are looking, how well they're doing. Packing on some size at the moment though, Jesus. Really noticed it this weekend, just gone, when I came home. Obviously I've got the feeder on, I've got the growth food in and everything like that, and we've had temperatures crawling up, and especially the Yamabuki Ogon and Kirsty the Kahaku. I got home Friday and I was just stood there, and as soon as I looked in the pond I thought, my God, in a week they'd really looked like they'd really packed some bit of size on. So not going to get anybody out now. It's not mid-season, not while we're still in the growth.
Continue on A87.
Not while we're in the growing season. I'm not going to go upsetting anybody and getting them out unless I absolutely have to for some reason, scrapes or whatever. But yeah, end of season measure up. It should be interesting this year. Should be very interesting. I thought the pond would be looking a little bit empty with a couple of fish moved on. Obviously the Hyatt Sirius I think on the Leon, and also one of the Alan Bayer Kahakus. I've got the Platinum Ogon, I'm moving that on as well. It's a nice fish, don't get me wrong. 99% sure it's male, hence why it's not going to have a huge body on it, I think. That is the only reason I'm moving it on, is it's not going to have the sort of like the body look that I want in the pond. I mean, the skin quality and the coloration and, you know, the platinum, it's just, you know, spot on. It's 100% there. It's just a shame it's not going to be a thick-bodied fish for me. So that'll be going on. So that'll be gone. Possibly, maybe one other. I've got 12 fish left at the moment. Yeah. And purchases this year, I'm only going to get one. Holding off probably until the All England down in Kent, before I go on my shopping spree and have a little look around. So plans there for new fish is either a Deutz shower, totally scaleless one. I don't want any scales on the Deutsch show. I want it totally scaleless. And obviously the nice crisp lines on the colours. You know, nice bright colours. That's the good thing about Deutsch, is that, you know, the colours do tend to pop more. So it's either one of them or a Akamatsuba. I'd like a nice decent one of them. Not looking to buy particularly huge if there's sort of like a higher quality but smaller in size at a high
Be in
price.
either of the two left lanes.
You know, if you're looking at a 25 cm fish, 30 cm fish, and it's higher quality, I'm prepared to pay more for a higher quality one and then grow it. But for me, that's what I get out of the hobby. I like to, you know, buy the smaller fish, test my eye, look at something small, you know, that's in my budget, and try and predict what it's going to do, how it's going to grow, how the patterning's going to come in, and see if I'm right, see if I've got the eye for it. And I'm sort of getting to the position in the hobby now where I do want better quality fish. Not that there's anything wrong with the fish I've got at the moment. You know, I love each and every one of them. I'm not one of these koi keepers who don't get an attachment to the fish like some people do. There's some people out there, they just see them as a commodity. They buy a fish, they grow it, get bored with it, move it on, buy another fish. You know, I on the other hand, I sort of get to look at the fish as pets. They become part of the pond, and you know, part of, not like a dog part of the family, but you know, they're still my fish, and you know, you want to keep them as healthy as they can, look after them, and you know, you get attached to them. So, but yeah, so that's the plans for the rest of this year. And obviously, if there's anything else that sort of like crops up, sort of, you know, supposed to be a new improved Tempest coming out, changing the leaky valves on them for a better quality valve. I think they're putting a small ball valve or so, proper shutter valve on that, ain't going to leak on them. Interesting to see if that does happen. If they sort it out and maybe lower the price a tad. I still think well, they're not 250 anymore now, are they? The retail price Evolution Aqua, I can't understand why you're putting the prices up. I think they're 270 now, 280. I'm still saying you're £100, 120 quid over where your price point should be to actually sell them, really, for what it is. Plastic tube with some media in it and a couple, you know, and a valve. Lot of money. EA, lot of money. Sort it out. Far too much money. Yes, you could say R&D's gone into it. Still too much money. I think you would sell an absolute flaming shed load more than you are if you dropped the money down. Just because we keep koi, we haven't got loads of bloody money. Not all of us. It's not like it used to be. It's not the hobby for the elite anymore. You know, the average man on the street now is falling in love with the hobby and doing it. Although there are quite a few now packing their ponds up, admittedly, because of the energy price rises. But hopefully that ain't going to stay like that forever. But you know how things are in our country. Prices go up and they never come down. They have these emergencies and these crises and that lot, and everything. They have to put everything up to deal with the crisis. Yet when the crisis is over and everything's running back to normal and we're all tickety-boo and the whole world is friends again, the prices stay up there and they never come back down, even though it's costing them a damn sight less. So yeah. With all this bloody free energy we're doing with these solar farms, wind farms and stuff like that, come on. But hey ho, whinging over. Right, I'm going to stop bumpering me gums for a little bit. I'll flick you around when I get to some, you don't want to see motorways, when I get to a bit more interesting scenery, and let you have a little drive with me. Alright guys, catch you in a little while.